The midterm elections are just 9 weeks away, and social media has changed the way candidates reach potential voters, as well as how they go ahead on the issues that count. We want to bring in now the role social media is playing for the midterm elections, some perspective on that with Seth Schachner. He is the managing director for Strata Americas. He joins us live now. Seth, thanks so much for being here. No question that social media is a powerful entity, but just how much impact does it have on the outcome of elections?
Well, Julie, I definitely think it punches above its weight class. Certainly, some of these smaller networks, like Twitter or some of the others that are out there, I think to some degree have an outsized degree of influence. Actually,
Well, let's talk about the responsibilities then that political leaders really have when it comes to social media. I mean, should they be posting everything? Should they be limiting what they post? Should there be consequences for what they post?
yeah. I mean, I'm a big supporter and kind of fan, if you will, of moderation around the entire social ecosystem. So, for sure, I think the platforms as well as the participants and the content providers need to be moderating things. Basically, I don't think it serves anyone's purpose to have a completely ropes off environment. Basically, so I think there's a lot of collective responsibility around certainly politicians, but also the platforms that to some degree are able to shield themselves with the law known as Section 230. So there's a lot of responsibility all around the ecosystem for sure.
Yeah, Seth, and I mean, some of that responsibility really falls on the individual consumer, right? So the power of social media, political leaders really have the ability to post whatever they want, mostly whenever online. So, what role do we play in interpreting and responding to these posts, especially if we disagree with that content?
Well, I mean, look, I think that consumers to some degree have a lot of liberties and freedom to do whatever they want. I think it is going to be up to a platform in terms of how they want to edit or moderate or manage kind of their content areas. They all have terms of service and kind of the obvious stuff, whether it's threats or violence or obscenity. I think is stuff that can get filtered or edited away. Uh, but I do think there is responsibility around everyone, certainly the consumers.
So, how has social media changed the way politicians distribute information? I mean, what do you think they need to think about when they are engaging basically with anyone online?
Well, look, I think I think that some of the new classes of social networks, if you will, that Truth Social being one of them, but certainly others on other parts of the spectrum, all need to moderate, if you will, their content. I think some of the things you're seeing in terms of getting into the app store, if you will, go back to this degree of having some moderation strength there, basically. And I don't think they all are up to speed just yet. If you look at Facebook, uh, Meta, obviously, there's an enormous amount of resources there in terms of moderating and managing that content that's out there. And I think that needs to be shared all around the ecosystem.
So, Seth, let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of politicians posting statements on social media. Yeah, on some platforms, that once you post something, it's there and it's not going anywhere, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, look, there's been a lot of talk about having a new version of Twitter with an edit
hmm
button, a premium version of it that allows for editing and other features, and even sets the way for subscriptions and advertising. And I think these are all positive things. I think what I've seen with apps like Twitter, if you will, there's a ton of questions, not just about content and moderation, but questions about the overall security of the platform that I think in and of themselves could be more important, if you will, than some of these content questions that are out there. So yeah, I think they've all got a lot of work, viable things. Every
All right, Seth Schachner from Strat Americas, an interesting topic. Thanks so much for your time today.